In the story Star Witness, someone claiming to be Job, the angel son of the Most High, first said that the original Bible, written in Ge'ez, was not in the Old and New Testament format. He also said that the story of Daniel has not happened as yet. But then you read years later and notice in the Apocrypha, which is translated out of the Ethiopian original tongues, talks about Nebuchadnezzar being here in the times of Revelation. So let's watch. Who not to follow?
The Zionists love to pull an Old Testament verse like this out of context and try to pin it on the Zionist state over in Israel. But you know what? That is misapplying Scripture and failing to rightly divide. Because they'll never find anything in the New Testament. They'll never find anything in the New Testament.
Hello. So let's watch what His Majesty has to say. Who here can fail to trust in God, whose judgments are all righteous, and who fails not those who put their faith in Him? Has not the Lord, the mightier than mighty, once again revealed that under the kingdom of heaven, no one government of man is greater than another? Haile Selassie I the first. And if he was to see Job, he would look similar to his father. So let's see what Job has to say about his father. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, and we should come together in judgment. Neither is there any daysman betwixt us, that may lay his hand upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his fear terrify me. Then would I speak and not fear him. But it is not so with me. In other words, the Father is much greater than the Son. So let's watch who the Philistines are. And remember, the entire region from Egypt to India used to be called Ethiopia. In other words, Egypt used to be called the daughter or granddaughter of Ethiopia, and Egyptians were referred to as disobedient Ethiopians.
The Bible describes the Philistines as the descendants of Mizraim, the ancestor of the Egyptians.
And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Alamim, and Lehabim, and Naptuhim, and Pathrozim, and Casluhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Caphtorim.
They are also described as being either the ancestors or the inhabitants of a region or a people that's known in the Bible as Caphtor.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord?
In other words, the children of Israel are Ethiopians, because God chose Ethiopia as his dwelling place. Ask Jacob, who is God himself.
Lord, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Ker?
Remember, that whole region used to be called Ethiopia.
Because of the day that cometh to spoil all the Philistines, and to cut off from Tyrus and Zidon every helper that remaineth. For the Lord will spoil the Philistines, the remnant of the country of Caphtor.
The Bible doesn't explicitly state where the Caphtorites lived, but it is very explicit in its association of the Philistines with...
In other words, they're Ethiopians, just like all of us. And in the time...
Wait for me,
Declares the Lord.
for the day I will stand up to testify. I have decided to assemble the nations, to gather the kingdoms, and to pour out my wrath on them, all my fierce anger. The whole world will be consumed by the fire of my jealous anger.
Remember, Nebuchadnezzar planned to kill the entire world that's not down with him. So let's see in the books of Esdras what it says. Nebuchadnezzar and Joachim his son are together in the books of Esdras. And the Esdras is clearly about the end of times. So here comes the second book of Esdras, and you will find the son of Aaron. In other words, Aaron, who goes by the name of Levi, is supposed to be here in the end of times. For it is written, be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Thou shalt come in the end of the world. So During the books of Esdras, you will find Nebuchadnezzar at the end of the world, just like in the book of Judith. So in the book of Judith, it says Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the Assyrians, that he should, as he said, avenge himself on all the earth. In the book of Esther, you will find Nebuchadnezzar. And when will you find him? The two dragons and I are Ammon, and my nation to destroy the name of the Jews, and my nation is this Israel. He made two lots, come for the people of God, and another for the Gentiles. And these two lots came in the hour and time and day of judgment before among all nations, before God among all nations. In other words, Nebuchadnezzar is supposed to be here at the end of times, and he plans to kill the whole world that's not down with him and those that love God.
Then I will purify the lips of the people, that all of them may call on the name of the Lord and serve him shoulder to shoulder. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, my scattered people, will bring me offerings. On that day,
Cush is just another name for Ethiopia, which goes by the name of Zion. So in the mountains of Israel is in the mountains of Ethiopia. And what is supposed to happen there? As mentioned in Ezekiel 38, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, of the remotest parts of north, and all of his bands, many people with you. After many days you will be given attention. In the final part of the years you will come to the land in the mountains of Israel, which is located in Ethiopia. And you're going to come with a military force from the remotest parts of the north. In other words, Russia is supposed to come to Ethiopia in the final part of the years. And if you turn around Assur, you get Russia. Hello, Nebuchadnezzar.
Jerusalem will not be put to shame for all the wrongs you have done to me, because I will remove from you those who revel in your glory. Never again will you be.
The people in Jerusalem currently, some are the originals and some are the imposters. So he's going to remove the imposters that is causing pure wickedness there.
On my holy hill, but I will leave within you the meek and humble. The remnant of Israel will trust in the name of the Lord. They will do no wrong. They will tell no lies. A deceitful tongue will not be found in their mouths. They will eat and lie down, and no one will make them afraid.
Sing, daughter Zion. Shout aloud, Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all your heart, daughter Jerusalem. The Lord has taken away your punishment. He has turned back your enemy. The Lord, the King of Israel, is with you. Never again will you fear any harm.
In other words, never again means the end of times.
What American interest is it in overthrowing these 7 Middle Eastern countries? Well, it's an Israeli plan. And
remember, the entire Middle East used to be called Ethiopia. And the only land that hasn't been colonized by Europe or Islam is Ethiopia itself, the capital.
Called the Yinon Plan, named after the guy who wrote it, Oded Yinon. Oded Yinon published this in an Israeli magazine called Kivunim in 1982 in February. And Kivunim is the journal for Judaism and Zionism. It's published in Jerusalem by the World Zionist Organization. That's the very top of the Zionist enterprise. Like I said, that's the state of Israel. Zionism is the ideology upon which Israel is based. And the Yinon Plan, according to the man who translated, Israel Shahak, a professor of chemistry, he said it represents the accurate and detailed plan of the present Zionist regime, the Likud, for the Middle East, which is based on the division of the whole area into small states and the dissolution of all existing Arab states. So what it means is something called Balkanization. You break up a country, a big country, and you reduce it to ethnic components, like what we've done in Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was a large socialist state, in southeastern Europe, and now today it's, I think, 7 little statelets. Iraq is de facto 3 states today. Kurdistan in the north, the ISIS area, Sunni area in the west, and the Shiite area in the south. Syria is very fragmented. Whether it stays that way or not, we'll see. Tripoli, Libya has been fractured into 2 or 3 pieces. Sudan is now de facto.
Sudan is right next to Ethiopia. So basically, all the land that used to be called Ethiopia, they're slowly getting closer to the capital in Addis Ababa. So as he said, towards the end, there will be an army that will come from the north into Ethiopia.
Or de jure, 2 countries, South Sudan and Sudan. Somalia is chaos. Yemen is chaos. The whole Middle East is chaos.
Hello, start to wake up. Time is ticking. We're almost there. So let's watch who their bankers helped.
Between 1881 and 1914, European powers divided nearly all of Africa to exploit its people and resources. This period, known as the Scramble for Africa, was driven by greed, as nations like Britain, France, and Germany seized control of African lands, forcing local populations into labor and taking their natural resources. By the end, 90% of Africa was under foreign rule, with Liberia and Ethiopia as the only exceptions.
Liberia is basically controlled by America. So it's basically Ethiopia. And remember, the entire region from Egypt to India used to be called Ethiopia. Therefore, the people were of dark skin.
I didn't believe myself at first. So I checked and I double checked. And there was still a lot of doubt in my heavily colonized mind about this stuff. That was until I took a trip to this place. This is the British Museum at Great Russell Street, London, where I...
So here we have a warrior with 2 black African attendants. He is Memnon, mythical king of Ethiopia, who was later killed in the Trojan War. A painted inscription identifies one of the attendants as Amasis, the name of the then reigning Egyptian pharaoh. Let's have a look at Memnon, who is the mythical king attended by 2 warriors, one of which is Amasis, an Egyptian pharaoh. Let's have a look. There we have Memnon in the middle, mind the glare, and you've got his 2 attendants, one of which is Amasis. You can see.
So don't forget, India used to be called Eastern Ethiopia. So let's listen. The conquering lion of Judah throne, because according to Judah, Jesus is from the tribe of Judah, when in fact he's the son of Joseph, the favorite son of Israel. Hello.
Christians from ages before never heard of Jesus Christ. It's the earth richness, birth to a Christ.